Alright, this is just a quick video on the MSQ-100 and how you load notes into it. So there's two different ways to do it. You can do it through real time or you can do it through step time. So let's start with the real time. First I want to make sure my metronome is on, because otherwise there's no real good way to get a sense of the tempo other than the LED light. I've already set it to 120 BPM and I'm going to leave it at 4/4 time signature. You have the option of 3/4 as well, but we'll keep it in 4/4. Some other things here, it is polyphonic in the sense that you can record more than one note at the same time, and I think you're only limited to the number of voices on your keyboard. So in this case the 106 only has 6 voices, so you can only play 6 notes at once. So you have to keep that in mind when you record it. So before I hit load, which is the record button, in real time it'll give you 2 bars count in. And the nice thing about it that I like is that it'll give you the 2 count in bars, and then once it starts to real record, it'll send an SPP message to wherever you want, so like a drum machine. And so that way your drum machine doesn't start playing right away, it only starts playing when it's actually recording. You'll see in a sec. Alright, so let's just get into it. Oh, and another thing before I start, you can transpose notes as on the from the get-go. So let's just move it up a whole tone here to D. Okay, and it will record. So let's just get into it. I'll just do a 4 measures, and then we'll loop it. Alright, went over budget there. So let's delete those extra bars, or measures, or whatever. So we'll delete here, and then delete number 5. Yep. And then we will, oh, there we go. And then, is that it? We'll delete that again. Oh, okay. I think I did it. Alright, so let's turn off our metronome so we don't hear it. Make sure that play repeat is on, and let's hear what we did. So, nice thing about this is you can play over it as well. Yeah. So that in a nutshell is how you record, and you're only limited to the number of notes that it can record. So if I'm not mistaken, if I can just check here quickly, display. So I think if you do it without velocity and you just do normal note recording, you're limited to 6,100 notes. So I have 6,049 notes left. Depending on how you use it, it may be enough and it may not be enough. Okay, so let's move on to the step time method. So the step time method is it's different. Basically, you're putting each individual note that you want in manually. So let's move into, so there's 3 different, I should mention there are 3 different modes. You can do it the step method obviously, but there's 3 input methods. So there's the 8th note, 8th triplet, and 16th note. So that means that every note that I put, I can select either to be a 8th note or a 8th quarter or a 16th note. So in this case, let's just get it into something simple, an 8th note. So that means every note, no matter how long I press it or whatever, it will become an 8th note, so long as I don't tie it or whatnot, which I'll explain a little bit in a bit after I do this. So let's just get right into it. Let's just make sure we've erased everything. Yep. We'll reset, and let's just make just a little sequence of 8 notes put together of in one measure. So hit load. Nothing happens because it's still waiting. So let's count out 8 8 notes. So hit stop, reset, go back to that, and we'll repeat, and let's hear what it sounds like. So the drums will kick in. So that's basically the simple, simple eight eighth notes of sequencing. If you want to do that, the limitations to this is you can't transpose it on the fly. You can transpose the note of the input so that it can be, but it's only as you record it. So yeah, nice thing about it, depending on the polyphony, you can play on top of it as you go, live, of course, while not recording. So let's say there's a different method, so let's just erase this. Okay, so let's say you don't want to do eighth notes, you want to add some quarter notes in there, still staying in 4/4. So it's a little different. In order to make a quarter note, I won't go through all the notes, I'll just go through quarter notes. Basically, the machine is programmed to say, so you hit one note, doesn't matter, you hit tie, and now that note becomes a quarter note. So let's say I wanted to add another quarter note, right, hit tie, so those two notes are now quarter notes. If I wanted to add, let's say, 4 more eighth notes, and on the last eighth note we'll make it polyphonic, you just put it in. So 1, 2, 3, and then the last one will be polyphonic, so 3 notes at the same time. It's going to sound horrible, but anyway, just for demonstration purposes. So let's hear what that sounds. So it should be 2 quarter notes, followed by 4 eighth notes, and the last eighth note will be polyphonic, or a chord. Alright, so yeah, so that's basically just a very quick overview. I won't get into the specifics this time around, but if there's enough interest, maybe I will. Yeah, it's just a nice little machine. I wouldn't say it's a sequencer. I've seen it marketed, seen some for sale, on the used market, saying it's a sequencer. It's more exactly what it is, what it says it is, which is a digital keyboard recorder. In the sense that, yes, it can do step recording, but it doesn't transpose, and it's more of recording the notes as you go. You can't transpose it on the fly. Anyway, let me know in the comments if you have any other questions. I can definitely answer some. I'm no expert, but I'll try my best. Thank you for watching, and keep synthing.